What if I told you? The craziest moments in history are the ones they quietly left out. Empires collapsing over ego, leaders making decisions so bad they changed the world forever. This isn't boring history. It's violent, petty, genius, and completely unstable. The wildest facts are real, and they're stranger than fiction. This is the History Dude. One Chinese emperor united a fractured world and built an army that still guards him in death. What if I told you? Another emperor was captured by enemy forces, and his own court basically replaced him? What if I told you there was once an ice cream so exclusive, if you weren't part of the Imperial Court, tasting it could get you in serious trouble? And inside the palace walls, there existed an entire industry built around men who gave up everything for power. Welcome to Imperial China, where the throne was absolute and the secrets were colder than snow. And today we're stepping into one of the longest running political systems in human history, the Chinese dynasties. For over 2,000 years, emperors ruled under one idea, the mandate of heaven. If you ruled wisely, heaven supported you. And if disaster struck, heaven had withdrawn its favor. And that belief shaped everything. Let's start with Qin Shi Huang. In 221 BCE, he unified China after centuries of war. He standardized writing, currency, measurements, road systems. He connected defensive walls that later evolved into the Great Wall, but he ruled with iron control. Books were burned, scholars were punished, and when he died, he was buried with thousands of life-size terracotta soldiers. The terracotta army still stands guard today, even in death. He prepared for war. Then came Emperor Taizong of Tang. Under the Tang dynasty, China flourished. Trade expanded along the Silk Road. Art, poetry, and technology thrived. The capital, Chang'an, became one of the largest cities in the world. This was a golden age, but even in prosperity, the palace operated under strict control. And that's where things get complicated. The emperor had one empress, but he could have dozens, sometimes hundreds, of concubines. This wasn't just indulgence, it was political strategy. Powerful families sent daughters to the palace. If she bore a son, that child could become emperor, which meant influence for her entire family. The inner palace was intensely competitive. Rivalries were quiet, strategic, and sometimes deadly, because succession wasn't always clear. And whoever controlled the heir controlled the future. Now here's a surprising one. Around 200 BCE, during the Han Dynasty, the Chinese developed an early frozen dessert, a mixture of milk, rice, and snow, stored in insulated containers packed with ice. It was rare, expensive, and reserved for the Imperial Court. Food preservation using ice was already advanced in China. Ice houses stored winter ice for summer use. If you weren't elite, you weren't tasting it. For centuries, this frozen treat remained an imperial luxury, ice cream, as a state-level privilege. Fast forward to 1449, the Ming Dynasty. During the Tumu Crisis, Zhengtong Emperor led a military campaign against Mongol forces. It went terribly wrong. He was captured. Yes, the Emperor of China, captured alive. The Mongols attempted to ransom him back. But the Ming court did something shocking. They appointed a new emperor, basically saying, "We've moved on." After about a year, the Mongols released him. He eventually returned and later regained the throne. But for a period of time, China had a former emperor living among enemies. History rarely gets stranger than that. Inside the Forbidden City, only eunuchs were allowed to serve in the inner palace. Why? To prevent threats to the imperial bloodline. Over time, this became an entire career system. Poor families sometimes saw it as a path to stability. Eunuchs could rise to immense influence. Some controlled access to the emperor. Some commanded political power. One famous eunuch, Zheng He, led massive naval expeditions across the Indian Ocean. But here's the strange ritual detail. Eunuchs preserve proof of their status in a sealed container, sometimes referred to as a treasured vessel. It was presented during promotions, palace bureaucracy. Taken to another level, Chinese emperors ruled for over 2 millennia. They claimed divine approval, built massive walls, unified language, created golden ages, maintained secret palace systems, invented frozen luxuries for elites, survived capture, and controlled one of the most sophisticated bureaucracies in the ancient world. Power in China wasn't chaotic. It was structured, layered, and deeply ceremonial. But like all empires, it would eventually change. Subscribe if you want history that's accurate, but feels legendary. This is the History Dude.